due to short of time, I'm only doing for 5 minutes, very quick exercise. If anybody is in the, you can stand or starting with the breathing. Breathe deeper and take out from the mouth. Smaller circle. Touch your feet and go then anti-clockwise. Now we are going to yoga. Knees are only outside. Your side will keep it quiet and like straight.
We now have a Quran recitation with Makbul Bhai, yeah? Please. And before I start, we're going to change some timing because I've cut it very, very short, you know. We have to start a bit early. I hope you guys don't mind. Yeah, we start about 10 o'clock now. I know it's... You have to bear with us, yeah? 10 o'clock, yes? From next week, yeah, inshallah. Yeah?
محمد وآل محمد صلوات اللهم صل على محمد وآل. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم يا أيها المزمل قم الليل إلا قليلا نصفه أو انقص منه قليلا أو زد عليه ورتل القرآن ترتيلا إنا سنلقي عليك قولا ثقيلا إن ناشئة الليل هي أشد وطئا وأقوم قيلا إن لك في النهار سبحا طويلا واذكر اسم ربك وتبتل إليه تبتيلا رب المشرق والمغرب لا إله إلا هو فاتخذه وكيلا واصبر على ما يقولون واهجرهم فجرا جميلا وذرني والمكذبين أولي النعمة ومهلهم قليلا صدق الله العلي العظيم. This is Surah Muzzammil, Surah number 73, which is one of the earlier surahs that was revealed to the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. O you wrapped up in your mantle, stand vigil through the night except for a little of it. A half or reduce a little from that, or add to it and recite the Quran in a measured tone. Indeed, soon we shall cast on you a weighty discourse. Indeed, the watch of the night is firmer in tread and more upright in respect of speech. For indeed, during the day you have drawn out engagements. So celebrate the name of your Lord and dedicate yourself to Him with total dedication. Lord of the East and the West, there is no God except Him, so take Him for your trustee. And be patient over what they say, and distance yourself from them in a graceful manner. Leave me to deal with the deniers and opulent, and give them a little respite. Sadaqallahu al-Aliyyul Azim. Now, this surah was revealed when the Holy Prophet, in the night when the Holy Prophet was asleep, and he had covered himself with some blanket or something. And Jibreel came and he said, that you wake up and you perform prayer. See, it says stand vigil. In the end of the night, or a little bit ahead, or half the night. These are the ayat that were, which I read before. And then it says, and indeed soon we will cast on you a weighty word. Now we cannot measure words. What I'm saying now, can you measure what I am saying? You can't measure because it's word. What here Allah means is something heavy. For example, I don't know, you've all been, when I was in school and I was attending my physics lesson, and at the end of the lesson I used to say with my friends, I said, means weighty means something difficult to understand. And here, I was reading the Tafsir al-Mizan by Allama Tabatabai, and what he means here is that the weighty thing that is talked about here is the Quran. And then it says, indeed the night is firmer. What the Quran is here is saying is that you got more time at night, where you are relaxed more. During the day, the following ayat says, during the day you are busy with your own businesses and your own work. And then it says, so remember the name of your Lord and devote yourself to Him with a complete devotion. And the number 9th ayat says, Lord of the East and the West, there is no God except Him, so take Him as your trustee. Now I picked this surah because we talked about East and West some weeks back, and I asked what it meant by East and West. According to Ayatollah Tabatabai in Surah Al-Mizan, East and West means, you see, the sun rises in the east and then sets in the west. It means it covers the whole earth, the whole world, the whole universe. Allama Tabatabai says it means the whole universe. So Allah is the Lord of the whole universe. And that's what is meant by East and West. And I actually sent WhatsApp to two of my scholars I know quite well. And one of them said, yes, you are right. It is East and West, is to do with sunrise and sunset. And the second scholar told me that actually Mashriq, which is Arabic for East, and Maghrib, actually in Arabic, Mashriq means where sun rises, and Maghrib means when sun sets. So Allah is the Lord of from where the sun rises to where the sun sets. And we use East and West as derivatives of these meanings of the where sun rises and sun sets. So the answer 2 weeks ago when I asked, Allah uses East and West quite a number of times. In Surah Baqarah, there is ayah number 142 that we were talking about, East and West. So it's talking about time, sunrise and sunset. Let me read you, I think I've got some time here, because I actually printed out what Allama Tabatabai says in Surah Al-Mizan, in Tafsir Al-Mizan. He says, He is the Lord of the East and the West. What is meant here is that He is the Lord of the entire universe. Since East and West are two relative directions that embrace all directions of the visible world, these two directions are named specifically in accordance with the previous mention of the night and the day in the previous ayat, where it is mention of night and day, which are related to sunrise and sunset. In the last verse, God was described as your Lord. But here, in this ayat number 9, here he is described as the Lord of everyone. This is because it does not suffice for one to have a private God for oneself, but one must subscribe to a Lord whose lordship covers the entire universe. Sometimes idol worshippers had an individual idol for each person, different from the idol of others. If the Prophet were to also adopt a Lord in this manner, or if this were a conceivable possibility about his Lord, then it would contradict his message of monotheism, one Allah. Moreover, God is described as the Lord of the East and the West, which implies the Lord of the entire world. In order to prepare the ground for the next part of the verse, there is no God except Him. In other words, the first part of the verse about God being the sole Lord of the entire universe, called Rububiyyah, justifies why He is the sole object of the worship, called Uluhiyyah. I know it's a bit heavy, but I thought I would just mention it. The latter is an implication and corollary of the former. As we have repeatedly explained, God's lordship means His sovereignty over all beings and His direction of all their affairs. Since He is the only Lord, and there is no Lord but Him, thus He is the only object of worship, and there is no object of worship but Him. So take Him for your trustee, wakilan. Taking someone as a wakil, trustee, guardian, agent, means delegating one's affairs to the person and setting that person instead of oneself, such that one's preference and actions are substituted by the preferences and actions of the trustee. Taking God as trustee means seeing all affairs as belonging to God and ending in Him. This is applicable in two ways. With respect of the external events in the universe, one should not consider oneself or anything else to be an independent cause in the world. There is no real cause in the universe in the sense of bringing any event into existence except for God. This kind of trust and reliance on God entails that one should not be attached to any of the apparent means and force in the world. One's satisfaction, dissatisfaction, happiness, sorrow must be detached from everything else. Instead, one should seek one's objectives through the means that God has made known, without relying on them as independent source that can bring anything into effect. One must defer the achievement of goals to God, letting Him decide for His servant as He pleases. With the respect of the religion obligations, including individual rituals and social interactions, one must subject one's choice to the legislative decree of their Lord. That is, one should act according to what God has requested from them through His legislations. The first aspect of the clause, so take Him for your trustee, relates to the commands in the next two verses, and be patient and keep away from them and leave me to deal with them. And its second aspect relates to the legislative injunctions in the previous verses, such as, so remember the name of your Lord. Sadaqallahu al-Aliyyul Azim. Sorry, I'm sorry if I took Asif by his time.
Please say Fatiha for Farohim Marhumin. Chalismu of Marhuma Banubai Jan Muhammad, Barmasi of Marhuma Kursumbai Chakpar, Marhuma Muhammad Fida Hussain Rauji Jessa, Marhum Hasnali, and Ruqayya Bai Hasham Dala, Marhum Hasham and Zainab Bai Hasham Bandali, Marhum Anwar Ali Rakia, Marhum Fida Hussain Rauji Jessa, Sakina Bai Rauji Jessa, Ghulam Ali Jessa, Sherbanu Bai Jessa, Pani Bai Jessa, Shirin Bai Fida Hussain Jessa, Masuma Mauji, Marhum Anwar Ali Dina, Marhum Akbar Ali Hassan Ali Chapar, Kursum Bai Hassan Ali Chapar, Roshan Ali Chapar, Ghulam Abbas Chakpar, Laila Bai Chakpar, Haider Ali Chakpar, Marhum Kasm Ali Merali, Fatma Bai Merali, Ghulam Ali Merali, Khairun Bai, J. Merali, Jafar Ali Merali, Roshan Ali Merali, Sakina Bai Pyar Ali Merali, Hussain Pyar Ali Merali, Marhum Abdul Rasul Ladda, Zainab Bai Ladda, Abbas Ali Ladda, and Akbar Ali Ladda. All marhumin of the family of Jessa, Suleiman Kimji, Raza Datu, Rashid Jan Muhammad, Ladda, Pyar Ali Merali, Kasm Ali Merali, Chakpar, Muhammad Ali, Rashid Ali Dina, Muhammad Ali, Kanji, and all our marhumin. And also, my friend passed away yesterday in New York, Hussein Shani Jessa is well known, and he is going to be buried today. So let's say Fatiha for all our marhumin. Al-Fatiha. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. We will have Yasin after namaz today because namaz is a bit earlier. We say namaz at 12. After namaz, then we'll have Yasin. We can ask now Brother Asif to come here and talk to us about hearing problem like I have hearing problem. Asif will explain to us what is available. Thank you, Asif.
A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Assalamu alaikum everybody. I'm very grateful firstly to Brother Sultan Bhai and Brother Azad Bhai and also Brother Mumtaz Qasim for organizing this and giving me the opportunity here today to be with you, all of you. So my name is, some of you probably know me already. My name is Asif Parpia and I represent Autovax removal. So my topic today is general ear health, and there's 3 topics that I've chosen to talk about. One is tinnitus, which is ringing of the ears, and vertigo, this is dizziness, and thirdly earwax. So I'm going to discuss in phases. So symptoms, the causes, and what treatments we can do. So before I start, just a couple of interesting facts about our ears. 3 interesting facts. Without your ears, you would lose your balance. I'm sure some of you already know this, but within our vestibular system, there are fluids that help to maintain our ear balance. And if we didn't have our ears, we would not be able to get on with our daily activities. Secondly, our ears never sleep. Now, when we go to sleep, we think our ears are resting as well. No, that's not right. They keep receiving the sound signals. The only difference is that our brain is in a standby mode. So it's filtering what it wants to take in. So if there was a loud bang or a noise or probably your alarm goes off, then you would wake up. So they keep hearing, they keep working in the background, except that you're not hearing everything. It's very smart how, alhamdulillah, Allah has created us. And one last interesting fact, your ears have very important hairs. They are almost like tiny nerve fibers within the ear canal, which actually help to transmit ear signals to the brain. And these wear off and die and they fall off. And once they break, then there's no recovery. You can't replant them as such. So that was a third interesting fact. So I'll move on to the first problem, which some of us here might have experienced, tinnitus, which is commonly known as ringing of the ears. Now, tinnitus is the name of hearing noises that are not caused by sounds coming from the outside world. So there is no sound, but yet you are hearing this constant ringing. You know, it's either one ear hearing it, or both ears, or it could just be a thing in your brain, which is continuously hearing this sound. Now, the sounds can be ringing, it can be buzzing, whooshing, humming, hissing, or throbbing. So it's not just one particular sound, it could be various different sounds. What causes it? So it's not always clear what causes tinnitus, because generally medicals are still, there's not one doctor who would say, this is one particular cause of tinnitus, so avoid it. No, there's various different factors that can trigger tinnitus. Sometimes there's not even any cause, and you've not even had any problems, and all of a sudden this just triggers up. It's a very tricky position, I know, but common causes, exposure to very loud environments. Now, 90% nearly of youngsters who attend this, carnivals and where they have festivals, very, very loud music being played, that is where the tinnitus triggers off for them. So you could just be sitting next to a speaker that's so loud and that's kind of disturbed your hearing and triggers the tinnitus. Some of it could come from just general hearing loss. As we get old, our hearing deteriorates. There's also another cause which is called the Meniere's disease. It's a very rare disease nowadays, but that could be another cause. Conditions such as diabetes, thyroid disorders, or multiple sclerosis, MS. Anxiety or depression could be another cause. And other doctors say taking certain medicines can trigger tinnitus, like antibiotics. It could be any one particular trigger, which is very hard to tell. Okay, treatments. Question, will it ever go away? Probably I would say that's the wrong question to ask, because unfortunately it won't go away. With most people, it stays for life, unfortunately. There is no quick fix or there is no overnight remedy for tinnitus. The correct question, rather, would be, how can I improve my quality of life and live with tinnitus? If you keep thinking about it and paying a lot of attention to that background noise, it can take control over your quality of life and make you feel quite depressed. So you're going around in that vicious circle. Solution, don't focus too much on it and just get on with your daily life. Try avoiding total silence. If you're in a quiet room when there's pin drop silence, then obviously you're just hearing that ringing. If you have something playing in the background, it could be Quran, it could be anything else, the television, then that gets masked rather. So you're not hearing that ringing going on. Also try loud noises and stress. And there's the British Tinnitus Association, which gives self-therapies and techniques. You can check that online to help live and get on with your daily life. I'll now move on to vertigo, which is chakarave, commonly known as dizziness. But it's actually not just feeling a bit dizzy. It's a lot more than that. It's where almost everything around you is spinning. Now, I'm sure some of us here might have experienced it, and it's not a very nice position to be in, because you can lose your balance and just fall over. Vertigo attacks can last sometimes for a few seconds, or many days or months even. Generally, they say vertigo often gets better without treatment. But if it keeps coming back, or if it's bothering you too much, where it's taking control of your life, you must then go and visit your GP and ask for help. Causes. What causes these vertigo attacks? Inner ear problems which affect our balance are the most common causes of vertigo. So these include dislodging of calcium carbonate crystals. Now, very interesting how our ears are. This, I hope all of you can see this. This is the outer ear, the middle ear, and then the inner ear behind the eardrum. In the inner ear, we have something called calcium carbonate crystals, which kind of settle and are there to help us maintain our daily balance. Sometimes what happens is we've done this sudden sharp movement, or you've had a jerk or something like that, and you've dislodged those crystals. And when you do that and the crystals go floating in the liquid, that is when everything starts spinning and you get this vertigo symptoms. Now, there is other causes such as inflammation of the vestibular nerve, which is the nerve that sends the signals to the brain, or migraine for some people, or the Meniere's disease. Treatments. Your doctor can prescribe antihistamines, anti-sickness medication such as prochlorperazine, betahistine. Now don't forget, those are not fixes for vertigo. They will not make it go away totally, but they help to minimize the effect of this spinning. Other solutions, try and move your head slowly and carefully during daily activities. So try and avoid sudden jerks and movements. Also, sit down straight away when you start feeling dizzy. I was lately seeing a lady who suffers a lot from vertigo, and she taught me a trick. She said, if I sit down and just focus on one thing, just look at the wall, maybe at the clock or something, and continue focusing for a few minutes, the vertigo symptoms tend to go away. So that's a good trick. Some of us wake up in the middle of the night to go to the washroom. Now, as soon as you wake up and you jump out of your bed walking towards the washroom, that could be a trigger for vertigo. So this is very important because you are in that sleep mode. The advice is that when you get up, try and sit at the edge of your bed, wait for a minute or so, relax until your body is picked up, and then get up and go to the washroom, because that could be a trigger as well. Try to relax because anxiety can generally make the vertigo get worse. And do not bend over suddenly to pick things. Also, if there's stuff on the higher shelf or something, don't stretch your neck, because that's how you dislodge these crystals that I was talking about earlier, causing vertigo. So that's all the treatments for vertigo. Now, I move on to excess earwax. Now, earwax is something which gets produced naturally, which is all of us produce some earwax, and it's actually a healthy thing to have earwax. Earwax actually moisturizes and maintains our hearing. That wax that gets built up in the canal here, what it does, it helps to prevent foreign bodies like external insects, dust, fungal infections, to reach to the eardrum. So it's actually protecting us. But some of us get excess wax, and this is what I'm discussing. Now, excess wax can actually be quite nasty, because what happens is you just feel too heavy. It's too much to handle. And that could actually affect a lot of other things, including vertigo and tinnitus, what I just mentioned earlier. Symptoms of excess wax. So you could feel like an earache in your ears. You could feel fullness in the ear, like a muffled feeling. You could also feel that ringing feeling that I mentioned earlier, tinnitus. That could be due to the earwax. Hearing loss, because you have to keep asking people, can you please repeat, because I can't hear you. Although you're not wearing hearing aids, but it's the wax which is blocking all these sound waves from going in. Dizziness, vertigo, that could be triggered because of excess wax. Itchiness in the ear, sometimes discharge and quite a nasty odor, like a smell from the wax, because you've got so much wax. Now, traditionally, I know when we were all young and when there wasn't enough know-how, we used to stick these cotton buds. They're still available today. People go and buy them. The minute you put a cotton bud in, what happens is 90% of the wax is actually being pushed in. That little bit that's coming out is only 10%. Don't forget, the ear canal is such a thin organ that cotton bud is actually quite heavy for it, it's quite large for it. So yes, you're trying to extract some wax out, but you're actually you're making things worse, in other words. People with hearing aids tend to get more earwax. They're more prone to getting, because of this hearing aids constantly being in the ear, the wax cannot travel. It can't go any further because the drum is blocking it. The only way it can go is outside, but the hearing aid is blocking it. So that makes it a bit difficult. They tend to get more of, and as we get older, we get more production of earwax, which becomes a problem. So treatments for earwax. Generally, if it's just a little bit of earwax bothering you, pure olive oil drops. Simple. A house treatment. Some of us, we have olive oil in our kitchen. Good enough to use. Just a tiny bit, a few drops, and that will disperse that little wax. But when it gets too much, then you have to go and get it extracted, removed. Now, there's two techniques to getting earwax removed. Syringing or microsuction. Some of you are probably already aware and know about these terms. Syringing is almost like a jet wash. So it's being, they say a picture says 1,000 words. That's why I'm referring back to this picture here. Imagine you had wax in this canal, fully blocked. Syringing, like they used to do in the old days, is almost like a jet wash with full force to blast that wax here and then to drive it out. It's like a U-turn effect. So it's being blasted from here, it goes in and gets pushed out, which can be quite messy, quite painful at times, and it has its own risks associated with it. That is why people and medics have now moved on to the new technique, gold standard microsuction. Microsuction is, you could call it like a mild vacuum. It's almost like a Hoover, okay, but on a mild level. So the idea is you soften the earwax using olive oil, and then you get it vacuumed. Traditionally, you could all go to your GPs and get this done. And there used to be a nurse there who would help you get your ears cleaned. September 2020, the NHS made an announcement, and they said they have no more budget to support ear syringing at GP practices. So they scrapped it. So now, if any of you went to your GPs or your NHS surgeries and told them I have this problem, they'll give you two options. The easy option, go get it done yourself privately. Or, if you keep insisting, we'll refer you to the hospital. Now, hospital waiting times at the moment, as it stands, 6 to 8 months, or even longer, which can be a bit too much and annoying to wait for that long. So, what happened is, I went and got myself trained on this new technique called microsuction back then, nearly 2 years ago. And I have been offering the microsuction, earwax removal, within the pharmacy setting for nearly 1.5 years. It has been fantastic, very good uptake, and very helpful. The local community really appreciates it because they have somewhere to go to. I often got asked, can you please not come home? I have my elderly mom or dad or somebody who's disabled. And I used to say, sorry, no, you have to bring them down, which was quite heartbreaking. And then an idea came up, and I thought, why not have a service which could be mobile, and rather than people coming out to the pharmacy or the high street, I take the service to their doorstep. And that's where Autowax Removal, the company I represent, came about. It's a mobile service, okay? It's a personalized and affordable service. Generally, when anybody goes to get their ears cleaned, you could be paying easily between 55 to 60 pounds for one ear. And other people also charge for consultation. Specsavers, Boots, there's lots of other private places. What I've done is made it very affordable. £40 per year, £70 for 2 years. But for all our community members and all of you that are here, a flat rate of just £30 per year. So if anybody here is suffering and has got problems, then please feel free to contact me. As agreed with Azad Bhai and Sultan Bhai, I'm here today until the end of the program to give all of you here, anybody who wants, a free ear health check, just to check for anything. It could be inflammation, any pain you have, and wax. I've actually brought with me my live video streaming. So if anybody suffers with wax, I could actually show it to you, what a clear canal is and what a packed ear canal would be. The advantage of auto wax, it's flexible, so we work around you based on your availability. We bring the service to you, so there's no waiting times. You don't have to travel and make appointments and spend money even to go out. Rather, much cheaper, affordable, and within the comfort of your own home. So I'll be here until the end of the day with all of you. Anybody who is interested, feel free to come down and get yourself checked. Any questions? Yes, bye. Yeah, definitely. Any other questions?
There's one point you didn't mention on Erb's maneuver in vertigo. ENT specialists have taught me this, that we can move the hand to one side, do this way, and that actually cures vertigo.
Yeah.
I've used it myself.
Yes, there is treatment such as certain movements and therapies, yes. Erb's maneuver, which helps to settle those crystals back in the right place and reduces the vertigo.
So under the question I've got, there is some creams that are stick with some spirals on the waist. What do you think about that?
Creams.
That has been advertised.
I have seen devices on websites such as Amazon. They're like, so imagine there's a big piece of wax here, and it's almost like a screwdriver, a plastic device, which you're putting in. They show it so smartly in the video that you're poking it in, and then you're just turning it like a key, and you will find the wax will get trapped in that plastic thing, and then you pull it out. It may work, but most people who've come to me for the service, for the removal of earwax, have said, you know what, it's only made it worse. Yeah, it's made it worse. Because the minute you stick, the canal is such a thin organ, the minute you stick anything in, it just, especially wax is so soft, so you have to get it really right, that you can pluck it out. Generally, it's only making things worse. So nothing like getting it professionally cleaned, of course. Yes?
I've been waxing using cotton buds. Obviously, sales of cotton buds are going to go down.
Yeah.
But, so it hasn't caused any damage because I haven't had any loss of hearing.
Yeah.
So how can you explain that?
Now, when you say you've been using cotton buds, have you actually seen wax come out?
I see it.
Tiny bit. Yeah. So you've actually never had.
It's not wax, sometimes it's dirt.
Yeah, which is accumulating in the canal, which is fair play, yes. It's not going to damage your ear as such, unless and until somebody was stupid enough to poke it in and poke the eardrum. Yeah. It will. Yeah. So you're gently, gradually just trying to remove that dirt, which is fair enough, yes. But if you're somebody who's suffering from earwax and head wax, then you've not done yourself any favors, because that wax, I would personally advise for general maintenance of ear wax, olive oil. Nothing like this. The best remedy. Very simple. The minute you put a few drops, you could be doing this 1 or 2 times a week, just a few drops. Because you're lubricating that canal, you are stopping from that wax from settling in and becoming hard. So it's so slippery for it that it will naturally come out. It could be while you're sleeping or in the shower or somewhere. So. Yes, Makbul bhai.
I wouldn't advise anybody to use cotton buds. My personal experience, what I was doing was pushing the wax further inside
Yes.
until it became so hard.
Yes.
I lost my hearing.
Really.
I had to be singed, and it took a long time
Well,
for the wax to be taken.
there we are. So everything that I've just said was theory. And here is somebody who is confirming to that. Alhamdulillah. Thank you for confirming. But has your hearing then, have you had, is improved?
Yeah.
Did you have to get hearing aids or something?
No.
No.
But it took a long time for the nurse
Re-
to soften the wax.
To soften it and yeah. I get cases like that. I've had people who've come in and they said, sorry, listen, I'm traditional. I've been doing cotton buds, like what Makbul Bhai just said. And when I've looked in, it has taken me sometime hours, even despite putting so much olive oil and softening it and waiting over days, it's still taken me hours to dislodge that. Because don't forget, wax, as it gets older, it gets darker, it gets more and more harder. It's not soft wax then, and becomes a real pain, sometimes almost like a stone coming out. So imagine then me trying to, or the nurse trying to do syringing or the new technique. You can imagine, it can get painful as well. So best way to keep ears clean, olive oil. Just a few drops. Even after I've done the microsuction for patients, I tell them, listen, for prevention, olive oil, nothing like that. A couple of times a week, a few drops is not going to harm you. It keeps it lubricated, gets the wax out, does the trick. Doesn't cost much either. Any other questions? Yes, bhai.
I just put Ortex.
Ortex is actually a medicated, it's called hydrogen peroxide. Now, if somebody went to the pharmacy counter and say somebody like myself who gets a little bit of wax, then they would give you Ortex. Hydrogen peroxide, the way that works is that ingredient in Ortex. The minute it touches that wax, it will fizz it. So you hear sometimes these crackling noises, and eventually the wax comes out. But again, if you have excess earwax and you have a lot of earwax, Ortex will not touch it. Yeah, for some people it might have worked for you, and it works for a lot of people who just have a little bit of earwax. But if you're somebody who has a lot of earwax, then getting it out, extracted, would be the solution. Yeah.
I think there's a fear that hydrogen peroxide can also damage the eardrum.
Indeed. Yes. It is a powerful substance. Yes. So if it penetrates, imagine you putting this hydrogen peroxide drops in the ear canal where the wax is. And if there was no wax, or it managed to just bypass it and then land on that eardrum, which is a very, very important organ. Our eardrum plays a vital role of everything that I'm saying now is sound waves, is then being transformed by this eardrum into signals to the brain, and then you're understanding what I'm saying. So that eardrum starts malfunctioning because of this powerful substance. Yeah. Yes. Yes. So the ear canal, the skin in here is very delicate. Even when we do this earwax removal, we have to be very careful, because we often ask, and we feel like a questionnaire with clients, asking them, are they on any blood thinners or anything like that? Because don't forget, your blood is extra thin. So if there is a slight cut or anything like that, then you could get a pool of blood. So we have to be extra careful with that. I mean, getting a tiny bit of irritation or a slight cut is quite normal. Don't get me wrong. It's quite normal in these procedures. It's not the end of the world, which often just recover and heal itself. But you have to be careful with the eardrum, yeah, how you play it, yeah. Yes, bhai.
I've heard of some people getting some kind of discharge from the ears at night, not regularly, but it's clear liquid coming out.
Yeah.
What would be the cause of it and how can it be overcome?
Is this an ongoing issue or just sometimes?
It is ongoing, but the discharge is not regular every day or something.
Okay. It could well be clear wax coming out. Yeah. Yeah, because you're in that position, so wax is just getting discharged itself coming out, and that's often the case, yeah. As it gets older in there, it becomes yellowy and dark, and that's when we think, oh, this is wax. But what you just described, if the problem is continuous and ongoing and is causing them discomfort, then definitely get checked from the GP because it could be the offset of an infection. Yeah. Yeah. Are we done?
Anyone else?
Yes, bye.
Can you specify which olive oil to use?
Olive oil, there's various different companies who make olive oil. So any basic, I mean, I've got one here that's made by Elisa Healthcare. This is just a generic olive oil. I've sometimes been asked by people, I've got virgin cooking olive oil at home. Can I use that? And I say, yes, it's fine. It's equally good. The one advice I would give is, because we're going into winter months, the NHS advised that you warm up the oil, but you have to be careful because if it gets really hot, then that could burn your ear canal. So a hot water bowl, yeah, with some hot water, and you place the bottle in it for a few minutes. You could try the oil maybe on your palm just to check it's warm enough, and then apply it, because when it's warm, it's giving you maximum benefit. Yeah.
The other thing is olive oil is also one of the tibbe rasul. It has been mentioned in our books.
Yes, definitely. Wattini wa zaytun.
By the Prophet
Yeah.
as well.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, fruits of Jannah. Okay, I think I'm glad I wasn't expecting a lot of interesting questions. Yes, alhamdulillah. And I will end it here. I'm now going to position myself at the back there. Anybody, please feel free to come for a free ear health check and take advantage of the service that I've got to offer and pass the word round, because this is new. I need your support, inshallah. And mainly your du'as, inshallah. Muhammad wa ali Muhammad sallallahu.
Thank you, Asif. Thank you very much indeed for your time. Thank you. Don't forget your... Now this is free.
Only if
free
you
charge.
stay.
No charge at the moment. What he's offering.
Yes, indeed.
We've got 5 minutes. Our brother here from Canada is leaving next week, so he wants to speak for a few minutes. Please.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Assalamu alaikum everyone. My name is Hussein Jamal. If you haven't met me or if you haven't known about me, I come from Edmonton, Alberta, which is one of the coldest part of Canada. The country is very cold, but our hearts are warm, so you are always welcome to come to visit us during summer months only. I would like to take this opportunity to thank, first of all, Sultan Bhai for giving me the time to address you. Secondly, I would like to thank all those who gave me ride to come here every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays, and participate in the seniors activities. The names are Raza Jesa and Masuma Jesa, Hussein Hassan Ali, Mahmoud Khaki and Taira Khaki, and Muhammad Habib Walji. I really appreciate their rides. Secondly, since I have enjoyed these seniors programs, I would like to thank and congratulate those people who were instrumental in giving me this pleasure. The first name which comes to my mind is Bashir Bhai, who gives me exercise every Tuesday. And once I come here, I feel so fresh. And when I go home, my wife says that તમે તો મજા કરવા ગયા હતા, ત્યાં તો તમે એક્સરસાઇઝ ઓછી કરો છો અને ખાઓ છો વધારે, એટલે આજે રાતના તમને ડિનર નહીં મળે. Secondly, I would like to congratulate our leader, Mumtaz Qasim. He has leadership qualities and he can really encourage you to participate in all the activities here. He has a good team of volunteers, and I would like to thank the volunteers as well. And lastly, I just wanted to say that during my visit here, I was staying with my daughter and my son-in-law, Tasvira Jesa and Shiraz Jesa. And I've been here for 5 months now, and they haven't even complained that is it time for me to go back home. So thank you very much indeed. And lastly, but not the least, I would like to thank Sultan Bhai and all of you here to give me a warm welcome whenever I come to London, Stanmore. Thank you.
Thank you, brother. Absolutely, absolutely. We'll have a ziyarat now and then. Oh, Makbul bhai?
Assalamu alaikum ya Rasulullah, Assalamu alaikum ya Amir al-Mumineen, Assalamu alaikum ya Fatima al-Zahra, Sayyid al-Nisa al-Alameen, Assalamu alaikum ya Asal Mushtaba, Assalamu alaikum ya Hussein Shaheed bi Karbala, Assalamu alaikum ya Ali ibn Hussein Zainul Abidin, Assalamu alaikum ya Muhammad ibn Ali al-Baqir ibn Nabiyyin, Assalamu alaikum ya Jabir ibn Muhammad al-Sadiq, Assalamu alaikum ya Musa ibn Jafar al-Kadhim, Assalamu alaikum ya Ali ibn Musa Raza, Assalamu alaikum ya Muhammad ibn Ali al-Taqi al-Jawad, Assalamu alaikum ya Ali ibn Muhammad al-Hadi al-Naki, Assalamu alaikum ya Asad ibn Ali al-Zaki al-Askari, Assalamu alaikum ya Hujjatullah ya ibn al-Hasan ya Asar al-Yasir al-Zaman, Assalamu alaikum ya Kabat al-Iman, Assalamu alaikum ya Sharik al-Quran, Ajjalallahu farajah, wa sahhalallahu ta'ala makhrajak wa zuhurak wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Allahumma kun li waliyyikal Hujjat ibn al-Hasan salawatuka alayhi wa ala abai fi hadhihi as-sa'ati wa fi kulli sa'a waliyan wa hafidha wa qaidan wa nasira wa dalilan wa 'aina حتى تسكنه أرزك توعا وتمتعه فيها طويلا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين.
إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر والله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن عليا ولي الله أشهد أن عليا حجة الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح حي على خير العمل حي على خير العمل الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله لا إله إلا الله اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد
الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم أشهد أن عليا ولي الله أشهد أن عليا حجة الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح حي على خير العمل حي على خير العمل قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله أستغفر الله ربي وأتوب إليه الله أكبر الله أكبر بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الله أكبر سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمده رب صل على محمد وآل محمد سمع الله لمن حمده الله أكبر سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده رب صل على محمد وآل محمد الله أكبر أستغفر الله ربي وأتوب إليه الله أكبر Subhanallah, Subhanallah, Subhan Rabbiyana Ala wa bihamdih. Rabbi salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad. Allahu Akbar. Bihawlillah. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Allahu Akbar. Rabbana atina fid dunya hasanatan wa fil akhirati hasanah wa qina azaban nar. Allahu Akbar. Subhan Rabbiyal Azim wa bihamdih. Rabbi salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad. Sami Allahu liman hamidah. Allahu Akbar. Subhanallah, Subhanallah, Subhan Rabbiyana Ala wa bihamdih. Rabbi salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad. Allahu Akbar. Astaghfirullah Rabbi wa atubu ilayh. Allahu Akbar. Subhanallah, Subhanallah, Subhan Rabbiyana Ala wa bihamdih. Rabbi salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad. Allahu Akbar. Alhamdulillah. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد بحول الله وقوته سبحان الله Allahu Akbar. Subhan Rabbiyal Azim wa bihamdih. Rabbi salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad. Sami Allahu liman hamidah. Allahu Akbar. Subhanallah, Subhanallah, Subhan Rabbiyana Ala wa bihamdih. Rabbi salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad. Allahu Akbar. Astaghfirullah Rabbi wa atubu ilayh. Allahu Akbar. Subhanallah, Subhanallah, Subhan Rabbiyana Ala wa bihamdih. Rabbi salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad. Allahu Akbar. Bihawlillah. Subhanallah. Allahu Akbar. Subhan Rabbiyal Azim wa bihamdih. Rabbi salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad. Sami Allahu liman hamidah. Allahu Akbar. Subhanallah, Subhanallah, Subhan Rabbiyana Ala wa bihamdih. Rabbi salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad. Allahu Akbar. Astaghfirullah Rabbi wa atubu ilayh. Allahu Akbar. Subhanallah, Subhanallah, Subhan Rabbiyana Ala wa bihamdih. Ya Latif irham abdaka zaif az-zalil. بجاه محمد وآل بيته الطاهرين. الله أكبر. الحمد لله. بسم الله وبالله وخير الأسماء لله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. السلام عليك أيها النبي ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام علينا وعلى عباد الله الصالحين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجه وحسن.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. لا إله إلا الله العظيم الحليم. لا إله إلا الله رب العرش الكريم. الحمد لله رب العالمين. اللهم إني أسألك موجبات رحمتك وعزائم مغفرتك والغنيمة من كل بر والسلامة من كل إثم. اللهم لا تدع لي ذنبا إلا غفرته ولا هما إلا فرجته ولا سقما إلا شفيته ولا عيبا إلا سترته ولا رزقا إلا بسطته ولا خوفا إلا آمنته ولا سوءا إلا صرفته ولا حاجة هي لك رضا ولي فيها صلاة إلا قضيتها يا أرحم الراحمين. آمين رب العالمين.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. الله أكبر الله أكبر. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. أشهد أن عليا ولي الله. أشهد أن عليا حجة الله. حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح. حي على خير العمل حي على خير العمل. قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة. الله أكبر الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله. أستغفر الله ربي وأتوب إليه. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الله أكبر سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمده رب صل على محمد وآل محمد سمع الله لمن حمده الله أكبر سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربينا أعلى وبحمده رب صل على محمد وآل محمد الله أكبر أستغفر الله ربي وأتوب إليه الله أكبر سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربينا أعلى وبحمده رب صل على محمد وآل محمد الله أكبر بحول الله بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الله أكبر يا الله يا رحمن يا رحيم يا مقلب القلوب ثبت قلبي على دينك الله أكبر سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمده رب صل على محمد وآل محمد سمع الله لمن حمده الله أكبر سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربينا أعلى وبحمده رب صل على محمد وآل محمد الله أكبر أستغفر الله ربي وأتوب إليه الله أكبر سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربينا أعلى وبحمده رب صل على محمد وآل محمد الله أكبر الحمد لله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد بحول الله الله أكبر سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمده رب صل على محمد وآل محمد سمع الله لمن حمده الله أكبر سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربينا أعلى وبحمده رب صل على محمد وآل محمد الله أكبر أستغفر الله ربي وأتوب إليه الله أكبر سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربينا أعلى وبحمده رب صل على محمد وآل محمد الله أكبر بحول الله سبحان سبحان أستغفر الله أكبر سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمده رب صل على محمد وآل محمد سمع الله لمن حمده الله أكبر سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربينا أعلى وبحمده رب صل على محمد وآل محمد Allahu Akbar. Astaghfirullah Rabbi wa atubu ilayh. Allahu Akbar. Subhanallah, Subhanallah, Subhana Rabbiyana ala wa bihamdih. Ya wali al-afiyah, nasaluka al-afiyah, afiyat ad-dunya wal-akhirah. Bijay Muhammadin wa ali baytihi at-tahirin. Allahu Akbar. Alhamdulillah. Bismillahi wa billahi wa khairul asma'i lillah. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد السلام عليك أيها النبي ورحمة الله وبركاته السلام علينا وعلى عباد الله الصالحين السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد اللهم After Asr Dua, inshallah, we'll have Surah Yasin. After that, then we'll have Ziyarat, inshallah. محمد وآل محمد صلوات بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم بحق محمد وآل محمد આપણે જે ભાઈઓ બહેનો બચ્ચાઓ બીમાર હોય આપણે દુઆ કરે કે અલ્લાહ લોકો બધાને શફા દે બધાની તકલીફો દૂર થાય આપણા આલિમો મરજા મોમિનીન ને મોમિનાત દુનિયામાં જ્યાં બી હોય યા અલ્લાહ તું એ લોકોને હિફ્ઝો અમાનમાં રાખ અમારી બધી હાજતો પૂરી કર અમારા ઇલ્મમાં વધારું કર એવી દુઆ સાથે આપણે બધા સાથે 5 ફેરે અમ્મયુજીબુ પડીએ અઉઝુ બિલ્લાહિ મિનશ શૈતાનિર રજીમ બિસ્મિલ્લાહિર રહમાનિર રહીમ أمن يجيب المضطر إذا دعا ويكشف السوء 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 سورة فاتحة شفاء المرضى ودفع البلاء اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اللهم إني أعوذ بك من نفس لا تشبه ومن قلب لا يخشى ومن علم لا ينفع ومن صلاة لا ترفع ومن دعاء لا يسمع اللهم إني أسألك اليسر بعد العسر والفرج بعد الكرب
والرخاء بعد الشدة. اللهم ما بنا من نعمة فمنك، لا إله إلا أنت، أستغفرك وأتوب إليك.
اللهم صل على سورة ياسين.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ياسين والقرآن الحكيم إنك لمن المرسلين على صراط مستقيم. تنزيل العزيز الرحيم لتنذر قوما ما أنذر آباؤهم فهم غافلون. لقد حق القول على أكثرهم فهم لا يؤمنون. إنا جعلنا في أعناقهم أغلالا فهي إلى الأذقان فهم مقمحون. وجعلنا من بين أيديهم سدا ومن خلفهم سدا فأغشيناهم فهم لا يبصرون. وسواء عليهم أأنذرتهم أم لم تنذرهم لا يؤمنون. إنما تنذر من اتبع الذكر وخشي الرحمن بالغيب فبشره بمغفرة وأجر كريم. إن نحن نحيي الموتى ونكتب ما قدموا وآثارهم وكل شيء أحصيناه في إمام مبين. واضرب لهم مثلا أصحاب القرية إذ جاءها المرسلون إذ أرسلنا إليهم اثنين فكذبوهما فعززنا بثالث فقالوا إنا إليكم مرسلون. قالوا ما أنتم إلا بشر مثلنا وما أنزل الرحمن من شيء إن أنتم إلا تكذبون. قالوا ربنا يعلم إنا إليكم لمرسلون وما علينا إلا البلاغ المبين. قالوا إنا تطيرنا بكم لئن لم تنتهوا لنرجمنكم وليمسنكم منا عذاب أليم. قالوا طائركم معكم أئن ذكرتم بل أنتم قوم مسرفون. وجاء من أقصى المدينة رجل يسعى قال يا قوم اتبعوا المرسلين اتبعوا من لا يسألكم أجرا وهم مهتدون. وما لي لا أعبد الذي فطرني وإليه ترجعون. أأتخذ من دونه آلهة إن يردني الرحمن بضر لا تغني عني شفاعتهم شيئا ولا ينقذون. إني إذن لفي ضلال مبين. إني آمنت بربكم فاسمعون. قيل ادخل الجنة قال يا ليت قومي يعلمون بما غفر لي ربي وجعلني من المكرمين. وما أنزلنا على قومه من بعده من جند من السماء وما كنا منزلين. إن كانت إلا صيحة واحدة فإذا هم خامدون. يا حسرة على العباد ما يأتيهم من رسول إلا كانوا به يستهزئون ألم يروا كما أهلكنا قبلهم من القرون أنهم إليهم لا يرجعون وإن كل لما جميع لدينا محضرون وآية لهم الأرض الميتة أحييناها وأخرجنا منها حبا فمنه يأكلون وجعلنا فيها جنات من نخيل وأعناب وفجرنا فيها من العيون ليأكلوا من ثمره وما عملته أيديهم أفلا يشكرون سبحان الذي خلق الأزواج كلها مما تنبت الأرض ومن أنفسهم ومما لا يعلمون وآية لهم الليل نسلخ منه النهار فإذا هم مظلمون والشمس تجري لمستقر لها ذلك تقدير العزيز العليم والقمر قدرناه منازل حتى عاد كالعرجون القديم لا الشمس ينبغي لها أن تدرك القمر ولا الليل سابق النهار وكل في فلك يسبحون وآية لهم أنا حملنا ذريتهم في الفلك المشحون وخلقنا لهم من مثله ما يركبون وإن نشأ نغرقهم فلا صريخ لهم ولا هم ينقذون إلا رحمة منا ومتاعا إلى حين وإذا قيل لهم اتقوا ما بين أيديكم وما خلفكم لعلكم ترحمون وما تأتيهم من آية من آيات ربهم إلا كانوا عنها معرضين وإذا قيل لهم أنفقوا مما رزقكم الله قال الذين كفروا للذين آمنوا أنطعم من لو يشاء الله أطعمه إن أنتم إلا في ضلال مبين ويقولون متى هذا الوعد إن كنتم صادقين ما ينظرون إلا صيحة واحدة تأخذهم وهم يخصمون فلا يستطيعون توصية ولا إلى أهلهم يرجعون ونفخ في الصور فإذا هم من الأجداث إلى ربهم ينسلون قالوا يا ويلنا من بعثنا من مرقدنا هذا ما وعد الرحمن وصدق المرسلون إن كانت إلا صيحة واحدة فإذا هم جميع لدينا محضرون فاليوم لا تظلم نفس شيئا ولا تجزون إلا ما كنتم تعملون إن أصحاب الجنة اليوم في شغل فاكهون هم وأزواجهم في ظلال على الأرائك متكئون لهم فيها فاكهة ولهم ما يدعون سلام قولا من رب رحيم وامتازوا اليوم أيها المجرمون ألم أعهد إليكم يا بني آدم أن لا تعبدوا الشيطان إنه لكم عدو مبين وأن اعبدوني هذا صراط مستقيم ولقد أضل منكم جبلا كثيرا أفلم تكونوا تعقلون هذه جهنم التي كنتم توعدون اصلوها اليوم بما كنتم تكفرون اليوم نختم على أفواههم وتكلمنا أيديهم وتشهد أرجلهم بما كانوا يكسبون ولو نشاء لطمسنا على أعينهم فاستبقوا الصراط فأنى يبصرون ولو نشاء لمسخناهم على مكانتهم فما استطاعوا مضيا ولا يرجعون. ومن نعمره ننكسه في الخلق أفلا يعقلون. وما علمناه الشعر وما ينبغي له إن هو إلا ذكر وقرآن مبين لينذر من كان حيا ويحق القول على الكافرين. أولم يروا أنا خلقنا لهم مما عملت أيدينا أنعاما فهم لها مالكون وذللناها لهم فمنها ركوبهم ومنها يأكلون ولهم فيها منافع ومشارب أفلا يشكرون. واتخذوا من دون الله آلهة لعلهم ينصرون. لا يستطيعون نصرهم وهم لهم جند محضرون. فلا يحزنك قولهم إننا نعلم ما يسرون وما يعلنون. أولم يرى الإنسان أن خلقناه من نطفة فإذا هو خصيم مبين. وضرب لنا مثلا ونسي خلقه قال من يحيي العظام وهي رميم. قل يحييها الذي أنشأها أول مرة وهو بكل خلق عليم. الذي جعل لكم من الشجر الأخضر نارا فإذا أنتم منه توقدون. أوليس الذي خلق السماوات والأرض بقادر على أن يخلق مثلهم؟ بلى وهو الخلاق العليم. إنما أمره إذا أراد شيئا أن يقول له كن فيكون. فسبحان الذي بيده ملكوت كل شيء وإليه ترجعون. صدق الله العلي العظيم. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين. اللهم صل.
سورة الفاتحة.
السلام عليك يا نبي الله. السلام عليك يا رسول الله. السلام عليك يا أمير المؤمنين. السلام عليك يا فاطمة الزهراء سيدة نساء العالمين. السلام عليك يا خديجة الكبرى أم المؤمنين. السلام عليك يا حسن المجتبى سيد الشباب أهل الجنة. السلام عليك يا أبا عبد الله الحسين سيد الشهداء عليه السلام. على علي بن الحسين ومحمد بن علي وجعفر بن محمد وموسى بن جعفر وعلي بن موسى ومحمد بن علي وعلي بن محمد والحسن بن علي والحجة بن الحسن. أجل الله فرجك وسأل الله مخرجك وظهورك ورحمة الله وبركاته.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.